Hi, welcome to Groovy Recaps. Today we will be recapping a 2022 movie entitled Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Warning: spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie starts with Sophie and Bee kissing passionately. They have a romantic afternoon together when Sophie tells Bee that she loves her, but Bee never responds. The two are headed out for a party during an incoming hurricane at Sophie's friend's house, David. Sophie and her friends are wealthy while Bee comes from an Eastern European town and has a regular job. When Bee arrives at the house, she explores the place before Sophie takes her outside to meet the others, including David, his girlfriend Emma, Alice, and her older boyfriend Greg and Jordan. They had another guest, Max, but he left the night before after a fight with David. The rest of the group seemed surprised to see Sophie. Sophie goes into a room with David to talk privately. He tells her that Max hit him over something involving Emma. He also brings up how Sophie was in rehab for her drug addiction, and David questions why she has shown up. They also talk about how uncomfortable it is that Alice brought Greg because he is old and they know little about him. Meanwhile, Jordan tells Bee to be careful around Sophie. The group hangs out, smoking and drinking, leading to them partying just as it starts to rain. They play a game where they have to take shots and slap each other. It is Bee's turn to slap David, but she hits too weak. David demonstrates by using the opportunity to hit Greg hard, causing the other girls to react in shock. They continue partying and Sophie watches as Jordan dances closely with Bee, leading to her proposing that they play a game of bodies, bodies, bodies. The objective is for the players to draw papers to see who is picked as the killer, but they have to keep it a secret. They turn the lights out and have to hide or they will be killed. Bee walks around in the darkness with her phone on and tries to hide. After the game is over, Greg is seen as the victim. It looks like Greg is actually dead, but he was just faking, after David gives him a good nut tap. While explaining the rules to Bee, David starts antagonizing Greg, leading to him saying he is going to bed. Afterward, while trying to figure out who the killer is, David suggests Emma. Things get tense when Alice reveals that Emma talked about her relationship with David and how they never have sex. David gets angry and breaks something before storming off. The girls continue to party until the power goes out at the house. Bee goes into the kitchen and finds David stumbling against the glass door. His throat is slit. The other girls run outside to his aid, but he dies. They have no signal to call for help and their car won't start. They run back into the house and fear that there is an actual killer among them. They suspect Max or Greg, as they both had motives against David. Alice protests, but the others force her to look for Greg. Jordan arms herself with a cleaver. The girls go to Alice's room and go through Greg's luggage, and they find a knife as well as a map with the house's location circled on it. The girls find Greg in the house's gym where he was sleeping and had headphones on. They question him about the items in his bag and accuse him of killing David, but he thinks it's a gag until he ends up grabbing a knife off one of them. The group agrees to put their weapons down, but a struggle occurs when Emma jumps on Greg's back. He tries grabbing the knife again. Bee bashes his head with a kettlebell, killing him. Alice is left crying and tensions are high. Sophie blames Emma for what has happened as they think Max might have killed David because of her. Sophie insults Emma, causing her to run off. They later see each other in the kitchen again, where Sophie apologizes to Emma, who responds by kissing her. Sophie is put off and gives Emma a bag of pills, while Sophie herself does some nose candy. Later on, Alice walks through the dark and comes across Emma, dead at the bottom of the stairs. It looks like she fell. The girls continue to blame each other, thinking one of them pushed Emma. Alice and Jordan turn their attention to Bee, believing that she has been lying to Sophie about who she is because they looked her up and saw that she didn't graduate from Utah State as she claimed. They think B is the killer, so Alice and Jordan force her out of the house and into the rain with Sophie just sitting there in silence. B tries to find a way back inside and sees that Jordan has a gun on her. B crawls back inside through a doggy door. She confronts the girls and tries to warn Sophie about Jordan's gun. B then explains to Sophie that she went to Utah State for 1 semester. B also explains that she has to take care of her mother who has a borderline personality disorder. A piece of paper with an X falls out of Jordan's bag, indicating she was the killer for the game, so they think she is killing for real. Jordan then draws her gun on Sophie and B, thinking B is lying. Another argument ensues where Jordan tells B that she and Sophie had sex before they got to the house, and she also criticizes Sophie for playing the victim because of her drug addiction in a stint in rehab. Sophie then says that Jordan is always talking crap about Alice because she hates her in her podcast. As Alice begins making a fuss, Jordan shoots her in the leg. The girls struggle for the gun. Jordan ends up accidentally shooting Alice through the head. Sophie attempts to take Jordan's gun as they walk up the stairs. Jordan aims the gun at her and B jumps onto Jordan, who attempts to fire at them. During the struggle, B throws Jordan over the banister where she falls and is impaled by broken glass. With her dying breath, Jordan tells B to check Sophie's texts before she begins firing wildly into the air. Sophie and B hide. B does not trust Sophie and she goes somewhere else in the house to hide. When the morning comes, B walks around and sees the dead bodies lying everywhere. She goes outside and finds Sophie, who tearfully tells her that she gave Emma pills which led her to tripping down the stairs and she feels responsible. B takes the gun and points it at Sophie, telling her to show her the texts on her phone. Sophie throws her phone and the two begin to fight for it before falling into the pool. When B gets out, she finds David's phone instead. They unlock it and find a TikTok on his phone where he attempted to use a Gurkha sword to open a champagne bottle because he saw Greg do the same thing. David had accidentally slit his own throat doing the stunt, meaning there was never a killer and everyone died for nothing. Max then returns to the house and asks Sophie and B what happened. B then notices she finally has reception on her phone and the movie ends. If you like this recap, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.